Attraction isn't magic, it's strategy, and most guys get it completely wrong. They believe that chasing a woman will make her want them. They think that constantly proving how much they care will make her stay. And perhaps worst of all, they assume that explaining how nice or different they are from other men will somehow earn her admiration. But has that ever truly worked? If you keep finding yourself caught in the same frustrating cycle, being the one who always texts first, replies within seconds, who tries hard to be funny, thoughtful, kind, present-tanned, yet she still becomes distant, colder, or simply loses interest, then it's time for a serious reset. Because this approach, it's broken. And this video is going to change the way you approach everything. We're not here to teach you clever pickup lines or gimmicks that only work in theory. We're not offering tricks, and we're not selling fake confidence. This goes far deeper than that. What we're about to share isn't about manipulating others, it's how to create an unspoken energy that draws people in. That's right. About learning how to show up in a way that builds authentic, lasting attraction without ever needing to perform, beg, or chase. So ask yourself, what if the real key to attraction isn't about doing more, but about being more? We're talking about what Machiavelli, if he were alive today. He would have taught something far more profound than mere tricks or games. Instead of advising men on how to play superficial games, he would guide them on how to truly hold power, because when it comes to relationships, power is something quiet, subtle, and immensely impactful. It doesn't beg for attention, nor does it chase it desperately. It doesn't need to convince anyone. It simply exists, calm, composed, and rare. And that very presence alone creates an undeniable gravity that draws others in effortlessly. This is not manipulation. Rather, it's about clarity of self. It's about becoming the kind of man who commands respect without ever having to ask for it, who naturally creates tension without pushing or forcing it. Imagine someone who doesn't need to be chosen because he has already chosen himself, solid, unwavering, and confident in his own worth. Isn't that the kind of presence that intrigues and captivates effortlessly? In this video, you're going to discover 5 Machiavellian rules of attraction that will transform how women experience you, both in the real world and online. These are not vague concepts or empty promises. They are precise, actionable behaviors that build genuine pull instead of pressure, spark desire instead of dependency, and ignite curiosity instead of boredom. We will break down exactly what you need to do to create this magnetic effect. By the end, you won't just understand why your previous attempts fell flat. You will know exactly what to do differently to make attraction work in your favor. So, are you ready to learn the secrets that could change everything? Let's dive into the first rule. Be the one she... Rule 1. Be the one she can't fully read. Can she truly predict your next move? Here's the harsh truth that most guys never learn. Predictability kills attraction. When a woman knows exactly what you will say, exactly how you'll respond, and exactly how quickly you'll reply to every little detail she shares, you lose the one vital ingredient that fuels desire mystery. Machiavelli once said, "People don't respect what they fully understand. Respect what they can't fully predict." How often do men make themselves completely obvious? When you reveal all your feelings too soon, when you overshare every thought and emotion, or when you constantly validate her without her needing to earn it. You remove her curiosity. Instead of feeling intrigued, she begins to feel in control, and when a woman feels in control, she stops chasing. Think about it. In real life, don't be the guy who lays out his entire plan on the very first date. Don't text her good morning every single day before she has even shown steady, genuine interest, and definitely don't double text immediately after she hasn't replied for hours. Give space. Let silence do some of the work. Because when she doesn't always know what to expect from you, that little uncertainty, like a flickering flame that keeps her attention, pulling her closer without you having to try too hard. Isn't that the kind of magnetic presence that makes her want to learn more? To lean in? To wonder what you're thinking? So remember, don't be so transparent that she loses the thrill of the chase. Be the man who keeps a part of himself, just out of reach, the one she can't fully read. And watch how attraction starts to build naturally. What you're thinking. When she starts wondering more about you, that's real power. Rule 2. Online, your presence should be rare and valuable. If she watches your story and sees you posting every hour, or notices you commenting under every girl's reel, what message does that send? If your online energy screams, "Look at me," doesn't attract her, it makes her scroll right past you. Why? Because true power, as Machiavelli understood, is all about perception. In the digital world, less is always more. One well-crafted, high-value post, a clean, purposeful profile, and a story that makes her pause. That's enough. You don't want her thinking, "Wow, he's always here." Instead, you want her to wonder, what's he up to? Isn't that subtle? Intrigue far more compelling? This doesn't mean you never post. Rather, your content should reflect who you are becoming, not what you're trying desperately to prove. Show your value by showing your life, but resist the urge to overshare your thoughts, your pain, or your desperation for connection. In a world overflowing with noise, silence becomes seductive. Rule 3. Stop over-explaining and defending yourself. Machiavelli put it simply. The first way to judge the intelligence of a ruler is by observing how much they feel the need to justify or defend themselves. Over-explaining diminishes your presence and weakens your power. Have you noticed how much stronger someone seems when they speak with quiet assurance rather than endless explanations? Leaves room for respect, for curiosity, for mystery. So keep your words measured, your explanations minimal. Let your actions speak louder than your defenses, because true power doesn't flinch under scrutiny, it stands firm, steady, and unshaken. The men he surrounds himself with reveal much about his character. But let's take that concept deeper, especially. In your case, if you find yourself constantly explaining why you said something, apologizing for every little thing, or justifying how you're different from others, you're handing her the role of judge. Meanwhile, you become the one seeking approval. This dynamic doesn't build attraction. Instead, it creates pressure and boredom. In real life, imagine this. You say something bold, and she gives you a curious or even skeptical look. There's no need to panic or over-explain. Instead, you can simply smile and say, "You'll figure me out later." When she asks why you didn't reply immediately, you respond confidently, "I don't rush anything I care about." Notice how you don't need to defend your pace or rhythm, because confidence isn't about being loud or overly assertive. It's about being completely unbothered by misunderstanding. The man who doesn't feel the need to explain himself every second is the one who creates intrigue. And women naturally chase what feels intriguing. They want to unravel the mystery. Rather than be handed the whole story up front, isn't that much more captivating than constant justification? Rule 4 is coming next, and it's just as crucial to understanding the art of attraction. Rule 4, be emotionally selective, not emotionally needy. You're allowed to care, you're allowed to be soft. But Machiavellian attraction centers on one essential principle: emotional control. If every time she says something cute, you instantly melt, or if she pulls back just a little and you begin to overthink, panic and chase, you're not showing romance, you're being emotionally reactive. What happens if she's cold one day and suddenly your entire mood shifts? This isn't strength, it's emotional dependency. In Machiavellian terms, you've just handed her leverage. You've shown her that your peace of mind depends entirely on how she behaves. Once that happens, the balance in the dynamic shifts. She no longer has anything to prove, and you're left doing all the work to maintain the connection. Is that really the kind of dynamic you want? Instead, practice emotional selectivity. Compliment her only when it's truly earned. Match her energy rather than giving it blindly or unconditionally. Don't fake indifference, but also don't give away 100% off your attention and care to someone who hasn't earned it. Think of it like giving only 40% a measured, controlled offering that keeps your own emotional balance intact. Here's a real-life example. If she starts acting cold or distant via text, don't flood her with paragraphs or desperate messages. If you invite her out and she flakes, don't immediately double down on effort. Pull back and let her show you that she's willing to meet you halfway. By staying emotionally selective, you maintain your value and keep the dynamic balanced. You remain the man who controls his own emotions rather than letting them control him. And isn't that in itself incredibly attractive? Last-minute cancellations. Don't beg or plead. Just say all good and move on. Attraction isn't about being available for every little thing. It's about making her wonder which part of you she truly has access to, keeping an element of mystery alive. Rule 5. Build your power so she feels lucky to get your time. This rule changes everything. Most guys end up chasing because their lives are empty, because they have nothing meaningful filling their time. They aren't building anything worthwhile. Their focus is scattered, and their emotional world revolves entirely around a woman they barely know. Machiavelli would likely laugh at that because the strongest form of attraction comes when someone senses that you're already fulfilled, that you don't need them, yet you still choose them. When you're actively building something in your life, whether it's a business, a craft, your fitness, or your mindset, you start to move differently. You don't text out of boredom or neediness. You don't give away your energy too freely. You don't chase attention because you're already living with purpose. Women naturally pick up on this energy. It's magnetic when a man is busy. Growing, focused on his goals, and emotionally stable, he commands respect and admiration effortlessly. And isn't it much more powerful when she feels lucky just to get your time rather than the other way around? Remember, attraction is about quality, not quantity. It's about presence, not availability. Keep building your power. Watch how the dynamic shifts in your favor. Women can genuinely feel the difference between a guy who's constantly available and one who is truly driven. Online, this distinction shows up clearly in what you post. In real life, it reveals itself in how you walk, how you speak, and how you choose to use your time. When you have your own mission, your own goals and purpose, you don't need to put on an act or try to be mysterious. Your life itself naturally makes you magnetic. Now, let's bring these concepts down to reality, because ideas alone won't change anything unless you know how to apply them. Here are some everyday situations, both online and offline, where these rules demonstrate their true power. Watch carefully how the entire dynamic shifts, simply by changing how you move and respond. Imagine you're on a date, and she throws a little test your way, saying something like, "You probably say that to all the girls." Instead of getting defensive or trying to explain, just smirk confidently and say, "I don't say much." With just that subtle shift, you flip the power balance in your favor. Or picture an online scenario. She leaves you on scene. Resist the urge to triple text. Instead, post something valuable on your profile, then stay silent.
Ow.
Let your absence speak volumes, because sometimes silence can be louder than words. In a situationship, when she starts giving less and you find yourself giving more, the natural instinct might be to try harder. But here, the best move is to pull back your energy intentionally, not out of spite, but as a way to maintain your own balance and control over the dynamic by applying these principles consistently. You'll notice how the energy between you two shifts. You go from chasing to being chosen, from reactive to commanding. This is where attraction becomes effortless, not forced. Gravity is the key, so stop asking, "How do I get her to like me?" Instead, shift your focus and start asking, "How do I move in a way that makes her genuinely curious? How do I become so grounded, so emotionally stable, so intentional, that she can't even explain why she keeps thinking about me?" This isn't magic or some mysterious trick, it's pure strategy. It's about mastering your presence and your energy in a way that naturally draws her in without any effort or force. If this message resonates with you, don't just let it stay in your mind. Take a moment to write a comment, even just a few words, because expressing your thoughts helps you remember and might also inspire someone else who needs to hear this right now. If you found value in this content, hit that like button and consider sharing it with someone in your circle who could benefit from this insight today. Trust your instincts. We're all on a journey to become clearer, stronger, and more solid within ourselves. So let's commit to building minds that don't break under pressure, hearts that stay steady, and energies that command genuine respect and attraction naturally.